How bad, first off, is your visibility due to the coronavirus?
Well, I mean, you saw that 2019 was a challenging year already with the trade conflict, Brexit, and other geopolitical conflicts, and now we have the coronavirus on top. As many companies also, we feel certainly in the first weeks of this year that it has an impact on the business of China, which was really going down. What we expect certainly is that now we see also the impact globally, because there are global value chains. So far, the stocks were sufficient, but now I think over the time, the logistic, the supply chain will transport that topic globally, and I think we will see disruptions, and we will see also a slowdown from the demand side, because we are now already at the end of February, so this will certainly prevail into the second quarter to normalize. We see even in some other countries now it actually is only starting, and with this it will take its toll into the second quarter certainly, and I think there is a lot also from the GDP side, which is actually services, which you cannot catch up anymore, and this is why we think the global economy will grow much slower. So we had a 2.6% growth last year, and we see it going down to 2% this year, and the chemical market going down from 1.8 to 1.2. So that is the visibility. Certainly a lot of our customers have also the same uncertainty, I think, like everyone in the moment. So visibility has definitely not increased.
Yeah, Martin, good morning to you. Visibility is poor at this point. What do you see in China then? Do you see, as China tries in some parts away from Wuhan to come back to work, do you see any signs of normalization, or is it just too difficult?
Well, we can see it with our own plants. Since 17th of February, all the plants, the major plants, are running again, but they are certainly not running at the full capacity. So depending on the business, this is a lower capacity. We partly brought our people in, depending on the site and also the local circumstances and regulation, but also a lot of people still work at home. But what I think is really disturbing is the supply chains. There is not even enough transportation, packaging material, and so on. And this is within the province and within the city already a problem, but it's definitely one across the country. And most of the value chains are across China and even across the world. So that will, that's what we will see over the next weeks much more significantly.
The economy minister, Peter Altmaier, yesterday said Germany doesn't have a supply and demand problem. Do you think he's not seen something here? Do you think that the German government needs to get more active, pay more attention, and do more in terms of stimulus?
Well, I mean, we have global value chains, and if you look on transportation, some material, intermediates, basic components that have to be transported from China to Europe, it takes 6 weeks. So far, I think the stock was sufficient. We don't see it now that we have supply problems, but I think this is what is to expect over the next weeks, because then stock will be down, and I think we will be surprised how much China is actually integrated into the global business and in global value chains. So that is also the signal I get from a lot of customers, that they are concerned about their supply chain and their production level, and certainly also a reduced demand.
So, Martin, you're at the heart, though, of German manufacturing. I mean, you are in the machine here. Do you ever talk to Berlin? Do you talk to Olaf Scholz? Do you talk to Peter Altmaier and say, hey, guys, you're not seeing what's going on. You need to step it up?
Certainly, we are well connected, and you rightfully say BASF is very often regarded as a proxy for industry, because our products actually go into all manufacturing industries, and with this, I think we are in the middle of all that, and we are kind of a center where all the information also comes in, and you see that now reflected also in our forecast, and certainly we discuss and talk to everyone.
How is this impacting what you're trying to build in China then, Martin? We understand at Zhanjiang you're trying to build a $10 billion integrated chemical complex. Is that running behind schedule now, or not progressing? What's the story there?
I mean, the coronavirus is one thing which is short and midterm, and that does not change anything on the fundamentals of China. that this is already today the largest chemical market in the world and will be almost 50% of the chemical market in 2030. So our plan is a long-term plan for BASF. This is a stepwise build-up of this large integrated site. And this is all on track, and we go with full energy and full speed because we do not change our fundamental view on China.
I wonder, you plan the Wintershall IPO, but as we see global equity markets cascading, this doesn't seem to be, at least today, the right time to do that, Martin. Do you foresee having to push that off?
Well, the first thing we said is that we now, when we brought the company together with DEA, that we now capture the synergies. The team is fully working on bringing the synergies home, and we said we prepare ourselves until mid of the year to be ready for an IPO. But we also said all the time that the IPO is conditioned to the market situation. And I think the current market situation is certainly not one that invites for that, but let's see how we stand with the stock markets at the middle of the year and how actually the coronavirus is in terms of its impact midterm and long term.